The Radiant Knight is a mage killer, mage counter class that is also pretty decent against infantry because it is on a horse. Its notable stats are health, magic attack, magic defense. It has kind of average initiative, kind of average guard rate for tanking classes or classes that have shields. And if we look at the details of this thing, so ineffective versus flying foes such as Griffin Knight. So Griffin's really your counter, but you can block its attack. So typically it can one-shot you through your block depending on how much like might it has, but it is possible to tank a Griffin attack. Your best bet is just to kill the Griffin. Most enemy Griffins don't have initiative fixing, so they're quite slow. But it's a sword shield cab with 5 stamina and 300 base mobility, similar to Knight, so very fast. Its leader effect is take less damage from magic assists, which is very useful for pushing mage towers. It also has 2 times damage versus infantry, physical damage. Unfortunately, it is 2 times physical, because I actually really like this thing on Runic Sword, because it allows it to leverage its higher magic stat. So look at the magic versus physical attack. It's plus 4 more magic attack. Runic Sword, let's call it Runic Blade. Runic Sword gives it 150 magic potency, which is a 50% damage multiplier. So whatever you hit, it adds 50% more damage. It allows this to be kind of counter to mages as well as killing armors, like an armor killer. Let's go over these skills though. All right, so you have Hatch. This thing, it's decent. Attack a single enemy, grant 1 passive point if the attack hits. It basically just exists to funnel more passive points into Magic Barrier spam. Magic Barrier negates offensive spells, but doesn't seem to negate curses. I just tested this against a Shaman, and it did not negate the Shaman's debuff. So it only seems to work against like Burn and Frost and things like this, like Witch spells and Wizard spells. Row Heal, this is decent. It's just literally exactly what it sounds like. It heals a row, and it can target either row. Now, I would have this disabled unless you know you're going to need the healing, and I would just have it target like lowest percent. Now, healing a row is very useful. In the demo, it's not as useful because you don't really get those huge team comps. Like maybe you hit 4 units in a team, 4 characters in a team before the demo ends, and if you're speedrunning it, you could easily hit 4. But beyond that, I just switched this on to heal and primarily use magic attack. This I don't really think you need to use. I would rather focus on killing. It seems that teams that can kill fast just benefit because then they don't have to deal with the enemy's abilities. So if you just drop the enemies before they can even do anything, then you don't have to worry about healing as much. But all right, so let's go over the other abilities. Magic Barrier. So this is the main thing that negates the incoming offensive spells. Holy Guard, this is just a self block, activates before being hit by a physical attack. So Magic Barrier kind of covers spells, but it covers allies as well, and the Radiant Knight. Holy Guard is just like a self block, block enemy attack with medium guard, prevents debuffs. You get that at level 15. And when you get Monica, she joins at level 14, so all you have to do is Miracle Fruit her, I think that's what it's called, or level her up once and she'll be able to get this. Magic attack, this is from her weapon, and then they have a support skill guard call for 1 Valor point. Deploy a sigil that reduces damage by 20% for any allied units within range, duration 10 seconds. So this just makes allies more tanky. This can be useful for attacking. Let's say there's a bunch of ranged assists that are dealing a lot of damage to you. This can be nice to stack with a defensive draught for 50% damage reduction. So it's actually kind of good for like pushing, and it's also on a fast character. Like a fast speed-wise, like movement speed-wise character. Let's see. Okay, the example build I have Runic Sword, Azure Crest, Shield, Carnelian Pendant. So what this gets you, +1 base PP from Azure Crest, +1 AP from Carnelian. And between the two, you get 2 base AP and PP. You have 2 magic attacks that can typically kill an armored in a single hit or almost kill an armored in a single hit. You have Magic Barrier, and then you have Holy Guard. And then you can switch on Row Heal as needed, and then if you want a 3rd Magic Barrier, you can toggle... Actually, you can get 4, because you can get up to 2. So like if you attack... So for example, if I do this, I'll get up to 2 more passive points, so I can negate up to 4 spells. which is decent. So I would switch between these as needed. And then you could set a condition to have this heal. Like you could prioritize that, for example, and then change its condition so it only heals if things are like low. All right, and then for some synergy, running a Cav, like a Knight, is really good with the Radiant Knight because of Cavalier Call. Grants Cav allies and users row plus 20 attack. Effect stacks. So if you have... So she benefits from this because he has higher initiative. So he's going to go... Clive's going to go before Monica in this case, and he's going to give her a 20% damage boost. And that just lasts. So like now her next 2 attacks will be 20% damage boosted. Now if I removed her and had a second Cav call, she could be 40% damage boosted before she acts. So because she is a Cav, she benefits from that. So it's very nice. I know other weapons and loadouts she could run. So you could run a physical weapon. It's not going to do as much damage for a few reasons. Magic attack has the higher potency, and this character has higher magic attack than physical. But you could run something like Viper Fang. You could run Crimson EP just to give, you know, AP -1 to enemies. So just kind of fill that utility like debuff role, prevent enemies from being effective, so that can be decent. Viper Fang for poison if you really want to. Black Iron Sword for just raw damage. Templar Sword for just raw damage if you don't have Black Iron Sword. Black Iron Sword has like the highest damage physically. So if you just want some like physical weapon to whack enemies with, you could run something like this. Then your attack would be this. And then you could have it be like this if you want to do something. Let's see. It's like average HP. Let's see. So if average HP is less, and then you want to target the row. So like, let's say you have all your units in the back row. If the average HP of the back row is less than 75%, then heal. If not, then do this. It's all just simple logic gates. And then for the hatch, you could target lowest HP. So maybe she goes for kills. So this way she can whack things, generate passive points, barrier, spam, and guard. Now, if you want to have her do something else, like be more of a utility role, you can do that as well. So you could run any sort of thing. Now, this is redundant. Negates magic damage. This is the exact same thing as... It's literally just magic barrier. So you could run like Dancer's Bracelet. If you don't want to... If you don't need the reduction. And then you could target Cav. So now you damage boost, and then get damage boosted, and then when she hits once, she's just going to hit once in this case, she'll get another passive point. She could powerful call again next turn, so she can powerful call up to 3 times with this if she hits with her hatch attack. So like in this case, she'll generate a 3rd passive point, and she can boost Clive up to 3 times, or another horse, so she could boost Clive, then boost another horse, which is still pretty good. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this class. It's a pretty decent support class with okay offensive attributes. I like the speed on it. The magic negation can be nice. So for example, Elaine can basically main tank most things. So if he has magic barrier on him, he's going to be blocking pretty much everything. And the main thing that would kill him is like a fire spell that applies burn. So negating that just keeps him alive. It also combos well with hoplites. I find hoplites to be too slow to justify using, but running a hoplite on this team comp wouldn't be the worst thing. Actually, that is really the only use case for a hoplite, is once you cover its magic weakness, it's mostly fine. It can still get one shot by warriors, though, so you still have to watch out for those. But you could do some, like if there's an enemy warrior, you could just like switch a knight forward and then still run it. But the hoplite has less damage than a lane, so I don't really recommend it. It's basically like a less flexible version that's slower than this. But yeah, that's it for Radiant Knight. Definitely drop a comment as to how you run Radiant Knight below, and be sure to subscribe if you found this useful, and I'll see you in the next one.
Woohoo!